So you want to make money conducting workshops. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 easiest ways to do that. My name is Michelle Villalobos, and I've spent the last 14 years in my own business leading and conducting workshops, seminars, retreats, conferences, you name it, I've probably done it. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of what I've learned about how to do it the right way and avoid some of the mistakes that I've made and some of my clients have made. And then at the end, I'm going to offer you a wonderful opportunity to get a free gift. Let's go. Over the last 14 years, I've done a number of different events and monetized them in a variety of ways. When I started doing events, the first way that I made money is the first way that I'm going to share with you, which is ticket sales. Now, ticket sales are a pretty obvious way to make money with workshops and seminars. Here are a few things to consider with that. The first is, what's your price point? Now, if you want to have a huge event, it's a lot easier to have lower price points. And if you want to have an intimate small event, then you'll generally want to have higher price points. But that's not always the case. Now, with ticket sales, one of my best pieces of advice for you is to do a tiered pricing structure. Why do you want to do that? A tiered pricing structure gives you the opportunity to capture a broader segment of the market. Now, especially if you're going to do some sort of large event like a conference, you absolutely want to consider having VIP tickets and maybe even a higher level. So I recommend having at the very least a general admission level, which is your lowest price point. It's to capture more of that mass audience, then some sort of VIP ticket that gets access to something special, maybe meet and greets with your speakers or meet and greets with you if you're the workshop leader. And then sometimes you can even sell a third tier of ticket that's an even higher thing that includes some sort of private session with you. The reason I like tiered tickets is because it also helps you segment the audience for sales on the back end, which is the second way that you can make money in events. Now, back end sales are something that a lot of speakers and workshop leaders and facilitators kind of resist. And that's because they've gotten kind of a bad rap. I know that when I was doing my Women's Success Summit, I actively refused to offer anything on the back end. I was worried that if I got too salesy, that people would reject me, that they wouldn't like me, and they wouldn't come back to my events. But here's what I want you to consider and what I had to learn myself. When you offer something on the back end, all you're saying is, hey, for those of you who want to go even deeper, here's something for you. You don't have to hit them over the head with it. You don't have to push it or peddle it all the time, but you can just make the invitation and offer it. Here's the thing about back-end sales. These, in my opinion, are way more lucrative than these. If you can have lower ticket prices with that tiered structure and then make an offer that's going to appeal to that VIP subset of your audience, then this has the potential to be much, much bigger than those front-end sales. Here, I'll give you an idea. I used to do an event called the Superstar Speaker Academy. We had about 150 people attend, and they would pay anywhere from about $197 for general admission all the way to $997 for the most VIP level. From that, I would make an offer into my 1-year coaching program, which at the time was about $20,000 a year, and I would make a downsell offer into my retreats. So we would end up making on ticket sales somewhere around $20,000. And then we made in one weekend once over $400,000 in sales from the back end. And that was with just 2 very light, very simple invitations to have a conversation with our salespeople in the back of the room. No hardcore sales pitch, no pressure. So those are my two favorite ways to make money with events. But I'm going to share with you my third way, which I did for several years and is also a really viable revenue generation strategy. And that is sponsorship. Now, the reason that I put this third and kind of kept it a little bit away from this is because when you have sponsors, it requires you to take your attention off of the attendee experience and what you're going to offer to them and put it onto a whole different entity, which are your sponsors. And here's the thing, sponsors tend to be very demanding. What I've discovered is that when your focus is on both of these, it can be very difficult to deliver the highest level of value to both groups. So that's why if you're going to do sponsorship, you're going to have exhibitors, you're going to sell stage time, or you're going to sell, you know, having your logo at the event or creating your own special sponsor area. That's all well and good, and I did that for years. I would recommend hiring a sponsorship manager if you're going to do that, and letting that sponsorship manager be the person that the sponsor talks to if something isn't going well. By the way, if you're liking this video, be sure to like the video and also subscribe to my channel, and maybe even share a comment below about your experience with making money from workshops and seminars. Another thing about sponsorships that makes them very lucrative but also very demanding is that you need to create an entire marketing strategy just for the sponsors. It's one thing to have to do marketing to get people to enroll in the event, but then completely separate marketing for sponsorship. So some of the things you'll want to think about as you're going out and trying to get sponsors is you'll need what I call, or what a lot of people call, a sponsorship deck. A sponsorship deck is what lays out the sponsor opportunity, including who's the audience, how many of them are going to be there, what are their demographics, what are their income levels, what are their education levels. Sponsors usually have budgets set aside, but they have very specific criteria about what they'll spend money on, especially large national sponsors. I may not have mentioned this. I spent the early stage of my career before I started my own business working in a fashion magazine where we did tons of events and sold sponsorships to companies like Mercedes-Benz and Heineken and Johnny Walker and all these really fancy companies. And here's what I learned. Sponsors really need time to make decisions. Generally, they make their buying budgets, their sponsorship budgets, a year in advance. They usually do their budgets back in August or September for the next year. And so it's a lot of times if you're doing an event from 1 month to the next, or 3 months, or even 6 months out, problem is they probably won't have a budget available for it. So this is a whole nother business model. Now, my intention wasn't to discourage you from doing sponsorships, although maybe that's what's happened. Instead, I just want you to be realistic, because a lot of people think, oh, I'll just get sponsors and I'll pay for that. It's not really as easy as you might think. In my opinion, you're better off focusing on this one audience and really fully leveraging this first before attempting this. If you enjoyed this video and are looking at all these possibilities for how you can make money with your workshops, then here's my free gift to you. Go to superstaractivator.com/go and sign up for a free discovery call with me. All you have to do is show up with a list of questions and we'll bang out as many as we can in 15 minutes. I'll see you there.